I am living in Old Dhaka in Bangladesh. Our capital city Dhaka is divided into two parts called Old Dhaka and New Dhaka. Old Dhaka is full of narrow alleys and buildings standing side by side. Buildings are as close as someone can move from the roof of one building to another easily. But these happen only for the old buildings, as they are mostly first, second, or third-story buildings. But nowadays, developers have modernized many of the old buildings into new and lucrative high-rise buildings. Due to the developing modality of the country, new apartments are replacing these old traditional buildings. But still, we can find the traditional signs of Old Dhaka in many places. Some of them are 100 to 150 years old. Among these old buildings, there are some where people still living and some are abandoned. Like this, there is an abandoned two-storied building near my house. It's as close as anyone can touch the wall of that building from the roof of my house. That building was the residence of a Hindu family where there is a temple of Kali. Hindu people believe they're one of the gods on the ground floor. I have heard that the temple has a tradition of sacrifice for the goddess. So from the very beginning, I had a curiosity about that temple, but there was not a single space or a way to see inside the temple. And even not the air and light could pass because the doors, even the ventilators, were blocked with bricks. It was clear that the residents of that building were trying to hide any secret of the temple from the world. The wooden doors and windows of other rooms were broken due to the period of time. No one enters that building. No one passes a single night there, not even a beggar. We were forbidden to enter that building from childhood. We also never try to enter that house to play, because when we look at that house, it feels something bad is present. And mostly the temple seemed to be bad. The building was known by its number, which was 77-1. When I was in university, for group study one day, 4 of my friends came to my home. We took a break in the afternoon, as we have continuously been in the study for the morning. I took them to the rooftop of my home to have some relaxation and chit-chat. At that time, my friend Nihal noticed the building. As he was from New Dhaka, so he had much curiosity about the old buildings and their stories. I told them whatever I knew about that building. Nihal got curious after hearing about the temple. Though other friends were not agreed, Nihal was very curious to see what is inside. He said, "Let's go. It would be a new experience, and if we could see any ghosts, then it would be a great adventure." After a lot of insistence, all agreed. I told to everyone, but my family should not know about this. So we decided to use the broken window of the building's second floor to enter so that no one could see us. I would say to my family that we were going outside for a walk. According to plan, my friends remained on the rooftop, and I went to my family and said so. When I returned back to the rooftop with my mobile and 3 torches. Then slowly we entered that old building where I had never been brave to go through living so near. When we entered the building, found that the environment was totally different from the outside. It was creepy and cold. Even it was too dark in the day, because the sunlight coming through the broken windows and doors was not enough to remove the darkness. So we switched on our torchlights. The destination was the temple on the ground floor. Will you directly go to the temple rather than visiting other rooms of the building? I asked Nihal. Nihal replied, "Let's visit the rooms before going to the temple. It's not going to happen to come here every day. It will not be bad if we can say hello to 1 or 2 ghosts before reaching the temple." There were 4 big rooms as hall rooms surrounded by wooden ceiling, veranda on the second floor. On the ground floor, there were 3 rooms and the temple of goddess Kali. There was a yard in the middle surrounded by the rooms. There was a tulsi tree in the yard, a bathroom on the second floor, and a kitchen on the first floor. We were moving to roam the rooms. We did not find anything unusual in any rooms. All rooms were empty, full of dust. Who knows when anyone entered here? At last, we came before the temple of goddess Kali. When we saw the door, it felt like we are entering a forbidden place in the world. We pushed the door to open, but did not open due to the jam into the locks for many years. I said to Nihal, "Let's go back to home. No need to see more. It's almost sunset." But Nahal refused me, saying, "Why should we go back after coming so far without seeing what we have come for? Let's push the door." We entered the temple, breaking the door. There I noticed some strange things. The temperature was quite lower than in the other rooms of the building. I mean colder. It felt like someone was there before we entered. I did not know why I felt like that. There was a bad smell in the temple, like the smell of old rotten meat and blood. That temple was too clean and neat compared to other rooms. No dust on the floor, no spider nets on the wall. It seemed like somebody cleaned the room every day. But how could that be possible? We just entered the temple, breaking the door. There was no large sculpture in the temple, but we noticed some small but horrible-looking sculptures there. Among us, Shanto was Hindu. I asked him if he could recognize the gods and goddesses. He said, "I did not know any of them except one, but it is not a god. This is one kind of evil spirit. His worship brings a lot of wealth to the priest, but in exchange, the priest has to sacrifice living things to please the evil." Nihal asked Shanto, "Any living thing?" "No, it depends on what the priest is asked for. I have a book on black magic in my home. There I found details about many evil lords and the rules and regulations of their prayer," said Shanto. Black magic did not sound good to me. Now I got to realize the secrecy of the place. It has become night and an evening was gone. I proposed to everyone, "Let's go back. It's not good to be late here." We were coming back one by one from the temple. Except for Nihal and me, others were outside of the temple. Before leaving the temple for the last time, I roamed around the torch to see the inside again. Just at the time of stepping out of the temple, I recalled that I saw something black in the corner of the temple. It seemed unusual as there was nothing like this before at the corner. When I was going to feel the light of the torch, thinking about what I saw, Nihal caught my hand roughly. When I asked him what happened, he pointed to the corner where I just noticed that. Without making any delay, I just pointed the torchlight at that corner, and what I saw was terrible still. I get goosebumps. I saw the black thing was nothing but a human being, or it was just a shape of a human. We could not see the front side of that. It was showing its back and was eating something downing in front. The full body was dark black and long hair was covering the whole body. That's why we could not see the face at all. But we were hearing the sound of something eating live. Nihal was shivering due to fear. Both of us clearly understood that it was not a human being, but rather anything else. I was trying to keep myself calm and think everything we saw was false. It was hard to believe that there was anything like ghost paranormal in this digital era. But how could not believe my own eyes? If I was alone, then could think that it was a hallucination. But how both of us could hallucinate the same thing together, even if we were not talking to each other. We did not realize how much time we were standing there and watching that horrible creature. It might be 5 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes. Our sense came to reality when our friends called us. Then hurriedly we left the temple. We did not tell our other friends about what we saw there. As soon as possible, we went back home. It was decided before that my friends would stay at my home on that night. But after that incident, Nihal did not agree to stay at my home at all. So my friends went back to their homes. I heard that Nihal got a severe fever after the incident. He even could not attend his semester final exam. Whenever I tried to discuss that horrible incident, Nihal says, "Whatever I have seen that day, want to forget my whole life." I never shared this story with anyone before. I also wanted to erase that horrible memory of my life that I experienced on that day.